Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Back when I joined the military 9 years ago, I joined knowing I would have to work my butt off, but it would be rewarding because it was a job that I could count on to be there for me when I needed it and when they needed me. But now, many of us are finding out that this is no longer the case. The military is no longer a safe job. Many service members fear the current status of the military with the downsizing. They fear it for their families, and they fear it for themselves, the fear of the unknown. Could they be cut? This affects service members, including myself. Now, over our shoulders, as we work daily, we fear that there may come a time the military no longer needs us and decides that we're going to be part of the downsizing. This downsizing is a result of budget cuts. The government decided that the military must lower spending, and the easiest way to do this is to downsize the force so less is spent. Downsizing in the military dates back all the way to World War II, including Vietnam. Although every effect of downsizing has been negative. Troops were downsized after every major war to find out immediately that they needed to bring more back because of an impending conflict of the future. The reasons for these downsizings are because of budget cuts. Large amounts of money need to be removed from the budget to help go back into the government. The military and government officials have found that the easiest way to do this is to remove numbers, less personnel, less money being spent. This is being done by removing personnel, primarily those that haven't made the cut, or older enlisted or officers that have spent their time and it's time for them to get out. But there are quite a few that are still falling into the fact that the military needs to downsize and it's time for you to go. Since 2014, last year, they started this. They've reduced the force size of the Army specifically from 570,000 to 490,000 as a current. And by 2017, they're going to reduce it down to 450,000. How the downsizing is supposed to help is it reduces spending and allows for money to be transferred to other places. Less personnel, less money being spent on those personnel. How the downsizing is being spun to benefit the military is it's supposed to make the military more diverse in the small size that it is. It's supposed to lower the amount of people, meaning more money being diverted to those training events for those lower personnel. How the downsizing is really hurting the military. It's removing good soldiers. Soldiers that have busted their butt for years that are now just being told, we're sorry, we don't need you anymore, you're part of the downsizing. It's spreading our troops too thin. We are abroad, scattered through many countries. As we lose numbers, that's less people in one area. It puts a fear of security in those personnel that are still current, that may be part of the upcoming downsizing. How are people supposed to work properly if they're always looking over their shoulder, wondering if they're going to be part of the next downsizing group? Scarborough R., back in 2014, said that an independent panel appointed by the Pentagon and Congress said that President Obama's strategy for sizing the armed services is too weak for today's global threats. I agree with that. If we spread ourselves too thin, how can we possibly plan for a possible conflict abroad at any point and any time? There are much better ways to reduce spending without reducing personnel. Number one, let's stop spending money on spray grass that's never going to take in an area we know will not take. We spray multiple layers on the same area with the same effect. Number two, let's implement better power saving policies and better waste and fraud policies. Less paper used. Daily we go through reams of paper. Why not make these all digital as we were supposed to have years ago? In conclusion, let's provide the safety back to the military personnel. Back where 9 years ago I knew it was going to be a safe job, let's bring that back. Let's bring those families back to where they don't have to worry about being downsized in the next group. As I've already stated, let's bring up better policies, better ways to save money other than just dropping good personnel. So far I've spoken on why there's downsizing, how it's affecting military, what people have said is the good part of why the downsizing is happening, also how the military is being hurt by this downsizing. I am Staff Sergeant Johnson of the U.S. Army. Take action. Keep our military strong and the best that it should be. Thank you.